All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Monty and Murdy College Football Show. Monty, what's up, man? You feeling better this week? No, you're a
Feeling a
little
lot
under the weather.
feeling a lot better now. Yeah, it's still fighting off a cold, but we're feeling better. Excited to be back. A lot of more. Well, it's just more chaos, right? This past week, it just seems like I feel like I'm a broken record every week saying this stuff. It's like every week it's like, oh yeah, another chaotic weekend, but that's college football. I'm excited to talk about a lot of these. I know there's one that you don't want to talk about, but we will dive into that one too. But excited to be back. Excited to talk about it again.
Yeah, so we got a Week 9 college football recap for y'all. We're going to deep dive into some of the biggest matchups of this past weekend. And, man, let's go ahead and get the misery out of the way for me here. We'll
Rip the
dive right in.
Band-Aid off.
Yeah, Ole Miss, OU. Ole Miss ended up winning 34-26 in Norman. And where do I start with this one? So this was Lane Kiffin's offense. They came out and they started the game really hot. They were able to move the ball effectively against a really, what had all been all year, a really stingy OU defense. There's just a lot of big plays in this one that you kind of saw that momentum swing, kind of back and forth on both sides of the ball. Overall, I think Trinidad Chambliss played a fantastic game. Just what he was able to do. The stat line, he threw for 300 yards, really good. He was only 54% on his completion percentage, but a lot of those were like throwaways, stuff like that. But he had, man, it's just what he was able to do with his legs on third down, right? That's kind of where you saw this OU defense be able to get him in third and long, be able to, have it where you're like, okay, they're about to get off the field right here. And then Trinidad Chambliss will make a run, gain 12 yards, convert that third down and be able to keep Ole Miss continuing to drive down the field. Ole Miss just had the ball for an incredible amount of time in this one. As far as like time of possession wise, right? They had the ball 35 minutes to OU's 24. And whenever you're putting your defense in a position where they got to play against this Ole Miss offense for that long, that many reps, eventually, right, they're going to get through. And they were able to in this one. Granted, Ole Miss, they did jump out on OU. I mean, it was 22-10 at halftime. Looked like Ole Miss was possibly going to run away with it there. So credit OU rallying back, scoring 16 points there in the third quarter to take the lead. But when we get down, let's talk about like the actual play of the everybody, right? John Batir was just frankly not good enough in this game. He missed a lot of open receivers. He missed a lot of reads on plays, like plays are there to be made. The Ole Miss defense had been known to be leaky all year, and he just wasn't able to operate effectively enough to give OU really a chance to win here. And man, you gotta get better from QB1. It's if you're gonna play in the SEC, you're gonna be in a lot of these one-score games, and the opportunities that are there, you've got to take advantage of them. And he just frankly didn't. As always with the SEC, there was some questionable officiating in this one. Feel like we say that every week with almost every SEC game. I don't understand how the conference that has the most money cannot get better officiating. But there's always seems to be something that occurs, whether it be in OU's benefit or not in OU's benefit. I mean, there's plenty of examples of, missed calls or bad calls that are made that are just poorly executed by officiating. Not going to try to dog them too deep on it, right? But I would love, we mentioned it, I know we talked about it in our little group chat. I think it'd be really great if the SEC did like official reviews the way the ACC does them, where they plug in the TV watchers and you're able to kind of listen through the process. Obviously, that's not going to happen for the in-stadium crowd, so they're still going to be pissed. But at least kind of give some context to everybody listening. That's happening there. There was a punt return for a fumble. OU got Ole Miss on a stop. Looked like OU was about to get the go-ahead score, so got them on a 3-and-out there, and then as they're returning it, get to the 50, OU fumbles the ball. Ole Miss gets it, ends up going and scoring, and it's kind of that's kind of where your momentum swings right there. Or just when you think OU is going to be able to kind of get out in front and be able to put a little cushion between themselves and Ole Miss, they give it right back to them. And unfortunately, it was a kind of a big momentum player, which Lane Kiffin capitalized on through a deep 40-yard pass downfield, which is just well executed. So shout out to them there. Overall, right? So as I look away from this game, how do I see? I think Ole Miss very likely to go 11-1. Don't have much left for them on the schedule. I think they got a game against. They got to play Mississippi State. They got to play Samford
in Florida.
Yeah, and they got to play Florida, which just fired Billy Napier. So we're going to wait and see. We'll talk about that a little bit on the Week 10 episode. We'll see what
and they
Florida's
got one more
be.
game, and they got one more game somewhere else. But yeah,
I think they got South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State. Not going to be favored in all the rest of their matchups, right?
So all they favored in all those.
All they got to do is just not cough it up. So Ole Miss probably going to go 11-1. Oklahoma team, man, it doesn't really change my opinion of the defense. I still think the defense for Oklahoma is really good. Obviously, whenever you give Ole Miss that many opportunities, they're going to score on you. They're going to be able to move the ball on you because they're a very effective offense, and Chambliss runs it exceptionally well. But the question marks are surrounding this Oklahoma team, the same ones they've been all year. They seem to be maybe finding some luck with the running game. They've had 2 good running games back to back against South Carolina and now against Ole Miss. Xavier Robinson had a 65-yard touchdown run in this one. So you seem to be finding some traction on the running game. It's just you've got to get better play from John Mateer. At this point, we're probably well removed from the hand injury, so shouldn't be any kind of concern there that we're thinking about hand injury, but it is just a inability to execute the offense effectively. And it's kind of what's holding this Oklahoma team back is there's receivers open, just not able to find them. And then whenever you do find them, you're not able to deliver the ball, catchable ball for them and be able to move this offense along. So, yeah, definitely some struggles overall. Got to bounce back. So we'll see.
Yeah, hell of a breakdown. So I won't say much about that game. I guess we can move on to this Mizzou Vandy game. I know that's unfortunate to be on that side for OU, but as we'll talk about in the Week 10 preview episode, as I mentioned, what was that yesterday? That first playoff game of the season next week. So it's getting down to the nitty gritty. But this Mizzou at Vanderbilt game, this was a defensive slugfest to say the least. You knew what you were going to get from Mizzou's D line. Vandy's defense definitely played up to Mizzou. Bo Prabula going down from Mizzou towards the end. I think that really ended up hurting Mizzou more than what it looked like. That freshman quarterback, what was his name?
Zollers.
Zoller, yeah,
Matt Zollers.
He played pretty good. I just think that you didn't have Bo Prabula's legs. I mean, Ahmad Hardy was able to pick it up towards the end as well, but man, I just think that the difference in that game was Vandy's. Well, the main decision maker, I think, in this game. I looked back, so Mizzou was 1 for 3 in the red zone, and Vanderbilt was 2 for 2, and that's all they needed. So,
yep.
When you can get to the red zone, but the opposing defense is able to hold you 66% of the time, right? And they're 100% of the time scoring. It sounds easy to like, yeah, duh, but that's what ended up deciding this game. Ahmad Hardy, he had 97 yards on the ground. And that Matt Zollers, he came in, man, that was in the second half, I want to say, and he still threw for 100. Yeah, still threw for 138 yards.
Mhm.
But Vanderbilt basically kept it between the 20s, and they could have scored 11 points and won this game. So it was, like I said, overall defensive slugfest, and Vandy just got the best of them. I think it was those red zone blues for Mizzou. So Vandy moves on to 7-1, just at number 9 in the country, which is pretty crazy. But
Yeah, for this one, whenever I was watching it, it's you could definitely tell that Missouri doesn't have a lot of confidence in their kicker. Um, right, like they're going to try to, if they're any kind of 40 yards, like, hey, we're going to try to go for it, run it on fourth down, whatever we got to do. And I think Vanderbilt kind of knew that, how they were able to, I mean, kind of have a lackluster day offensively. I mean, outside of running the ball, I mean, Vandy still ran the ball, uh, considerably well for 137 yards. It's just, man, their defense stood up when it mattered, right? Like, hey, we get our backs to the red zone. We're gonna go ahead and make a stop here, keep the score low, and we got to talk about it, right? It was the Hail Mary attempt from Zollers landing at the 1, like that's tough. That's a tough way to try to send the game to overtime there, um, and just fall a little bit short. Which, I mean, that kind of
you got to
sucks.
catch it. You got to catch it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, but it was close. Missouri just falls a little bit short, and in a game that I think Missouri is definitely going to be circling, right? Like, if there's one we want back, it's this one, right? You can kind of understand the Alabama loss. This one, you thought you probably outplayed Vanderbilt.
In between the 20s.
Yeah, in between the 20s, right? You thought you had it effectively there, just not able to kind of close out that game. And I mean, it speaks to it, right? If you losing Bo Prabula in the third quarter, like he's the leader of this. He's one of the leaders on this team. That makes a difference whenever you're in one of these tight, nitty gritty fourth quarter games, and you really need a score, right? That can be the guy that team relies on to try to propel them to that win. So yeah, good win for Vanderbilt, 17-10, and as we'll talk about this week, they get another chance to prove it. Missouri, on the other hand, 6-2. Not a lot of big wins on that Missouri schedule, or at least that resume so far. So definitely something that they're going to be looking to try to finish out the year as they still have some opportunities. So not out of it by any means with 2 wins, but still got to or with 2 losses. My bad, but
Yeah, you're
still
good.
some opportunities there.
I got you.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll talk about the next one. This one ended up costing somebody their job, man.
Yeah.
LSU.
And I guess let's just address that before we get into the game. So obviously, I mean, at this point, everyone probably already knows, but for those who don't know, Brian Kelly is out as the LSU head coach, was fired after the absolute rout they received from Texas A&M
Second half route.
in Baton Rouge. I mean, the score is what the score is, right?
Yeah. I mean,
but
they were winning at halftime.
In Baton Rouge, in Death Valley at night, they lost 49-25 to Texas A&M Aggies. And me and Murdoch were texting after the day after. So yeah, the day after the game. And I was like, you think Brian Kelly's going to lose his job? And he actually said, no, not yet. And I was like, man, I think that. I was like, with LSU fans and their patience, I was like, man, I just don't. And then sure enough, yeah, they ran out of patience with that loss. So yeah, Brian Kelly will be looking for a job. Payout is $53 million. And
I
he
wouldn't be
has
looking for nothing.
well, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, right. You're 53 million over 5 years. They did have the it's wow, man. It's called like he must mitigate basically, so he has to look for a job
Yeah,
in
he's
order
got
to
to do
get
something. Yeah.
to get the buyout. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see where he goes, but it'd be even more interesting to see who takes his spot at LSU. That is a premier head coaching job in the country, maybe even the best, some would argue. Man, yes, there's going to be a lot of people clawing for that one, I believe, and there'll be a lot of calls being made by LSU to current head coaches at other big time schools. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up taking over at LSU. I mean, there's rumors about a bunch of different people, but I mean, surely you would say it would be somebody that of high value with a decorated past.
I can tell you with this LSU job coming on the market, I firmly believe I think the number here for your coach is going to be 15 mil. That's going to be annual salary, 15 mil.
I heard that as well. I did not hear anything, but I would not be surprised. This was just me making an assumption solely, but I would not be surprised. He's already addressed it with other jobs a bunch of tens of times, but LSU, I know LSU doesn't care. I know LSU is at least going to make a call to the Saban household. That's happening. Whether he take a call, be like, no, I'm not coming back, so quit asking. But they're going to make that call. And they should. I mean, with the LSU job, like I said, it's one of the best jobs in the country, arguably, the best. So they're definitely going to call him. I think they'll definitely call Lane Kiffin, which there was players on Twitter earlier saying that he's not leaving. Ole Miss players on Twitter earlier saying he's not leaving Ole Miss. And I think he's happy down in Oxford, but yeah, I mean, we'll see with that LSU job, but hopefully they don't screw that one up again.
Yeah. So
Marcus Freeman was another one I heard.
Yeah. So I've heard Lane Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning, obviously Nick Saban. There's even an Urban Meyer talk. Obviously, a job of this ilk is going to have a whole bunch of suitors for it. And it'll also, you're going to have the biggest of the biggest names. As far as Nick Saban, man, at least from what he said when he was on the Pat McAfee show, is like, he better hope that Miss Terry is not the one who answers it, because she hears those numbers get thrown around, maybe a 15 mil. She might be trying to sign him up before he gets a chance to say no.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and dive into this game. Man, it's really hard to watch this A&M team play, especially how they played in the second half here. Was a kind of a shootout. I mean, not really a shootout. It was more like a kind of a little turnover fest out there in the first half, kind of back and forth.
Marcel Reed threw 2 interceptions.
Threw 2, and, giving LSU a chance, giving them life there, and then just completely came back in the second half, and it's, just domination by A&M. I mean, yeah, they were 70% on third down, just effective and efficient with the football. I don't know if there's a more complimentary football team in the country, just how A&M plays on both, I mean, on the offensive side, just how their run game complements the passing game and how they are able to do that. And also on the defensive side of the ball, as far as like offense, defense, they, if the offense, has a stutter spot, it's like the defense steps up, like they complement each other very well. And it makes it a very tough ask whenever you're playing against this A&M team, just because of how effectively they are on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that this A&M team, they've found ways to win games in different ways. They found ways to win games with their defense. They found ways to win games with their run game. They found ways to win games with their pass game. Like this, it's a very well-rounded team. And I know people always call them Texas 8-4 rather than A&M, but I really don't think that's the case this year. Sorry, Texas fans, but
they're already at 8-0, so I mean they got to drop the last 4.
Yeah, so unless they drop 4 straight, it looks like they're going to be doing a little bit better than 8-4 this year. But no, they are. I mean, they are seriously a national championship contender this year. And man, I think I actually heard something today that I found pretty funny. Basically, an analyst was saying that the A&M fans are the ones to be, thanked for this success, because they prevented the hiring of Mark Stoops, and that's when they got Elko, and now obviously Elko being a huge factor in having a well-rounded team. And I mean, in year 2, right? Under Elko, you got the number 3 team in the country right now at 8-0, sitting atop the SEC standings, looking like it's theirs to lose at this point. It'll be interesting to see. I know I mentioned to you over text A&M, and I believe I text you this, but A&M and Alabama, that I would love to see that that matchup in the SEC championship, and that's the odds favorites to be in Atlanta come December. But yeah, this A&M team's rolling, and thanks to them, Brian Kelly is unemployed.
Yeah, and yeah, not too much else needs to be said about it. Definitely some question marks for LSU, at least for the rest of the year. And it's like they still don't have that's what's so weird about the college football schedule, which we'll save this for an off-season talk about how we can fix this. And me and Monty both have some ideas there. Not saying anybody's going to listen, but we're going to put them out there. But yeah, where the schedule is, it's like, these head coaches, like they got to be let go in the middle of their season because you got the recruiting class coming up here in December. So if you got to get your new coach in before then to try to get some recruiting. And then you got the transfer portal opening in January. So before the season even concludes, the transfer portal's open. So it's like you already need that new staff working. So definitely something that's going to be kind of interesting to see if they can try to get it fixed. Don't have a lot of confidence in that happening, but we'll give y'all some ideas here in the off season. Let's go on to the next game. You got anything else on Texas A&M, LSU?
No, I don't have a whole lot on that one. I mean, it was pretty 49-25. I mean, like I said, with that second half, it was a pretty self-explanatory score. It was actually, I believe that last touchdown LSU had was a trash time. So it was actually, I thought they lost 49-18. But I digress.
It was right there at the end. I mean, Nuss wasn't even in. It was Michael Van Buren. Buren. Buren, yeah. We'll dive in. BYU, Iowa State. Tough loss for the Cyclones here, and BYU moves to 8-0. One thing I did want to note on this one. So as they put out the little net success ranking polls. I don't know if you keep up with that. It's like who was more effective each play, that sort of thing, and then they kind of compare that to the overall who won the game. And Iowa State was actually more affected by a pretty considerable amount in this one, but it ended up being a game that they lost. It's tale of two halves. BYU rallied in the second half. You thought Iowa State had done enough, and they only put up 3 points in the second half. So just not good enough there when you're trying to win one of these tough matchups.
Yeah, Iowa State, man, they just killed themselves with crucial mistakes. That's basically what that second half was. Just a lot of mistakes on their end, and well, a good team's going to capitalize, and that's what BYU did, right? And they did in a big way, 41-27 being the final in Ames too. This Iowa State team still has some things to figure out. They were looking nice at the beginning of the season, but it's that gauntlet of a Big 12 schedule that everyone has in the Big 12. It's any given Saturday, especially in the Big 12, right? But I love BYU's moxie to go out there and like just show the grit and like the swagger and be able to take care of an Iowa State team in a tough environment on the road in Ames, Iowa. And I mean, they put up 41 points there. They got that quarterback wearing number 44 or 41 or something like that.
Yeah. Bachmeier, baby.
Yeah, Bear Bachmeier. And they're looking like the favorite to win the Big 12 right now. I think they're the only ones undefeated in the Big 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because Texas Tech lost. So
yep,
it's BYU left. Main dogs. So it's it's like crucial mistakes, right? You can't really expect to win a game when you're -3 in the turnover margin, especially whenever you're in one of these. Like you can overcome if there's a real talent gap. You can overcome a bunch of mistakes when you're playing a team of similar ilk. That's
the thing is even that on that punt. I don't know if you saw it, but Iowa State was about to get the ball back. BYU was punting to him, and the punt returner was calling fire, like get away from the ball. And one of his guys just keeps blocking his guy, and like the ball's on the ground, kind of like bouncing around. This guy's still blocking his guy, and the ball just rolls and doinks this guy on the foot. And BYU recovered. It's like you just can't do. No. That's the crucial mistakes that I'm talking about for Iowa State. Like BYU is going to capitalize on those. especially in plus territory, on a punt. So it's just, it was the crucial mistakes for Iowa State ended up being costly for them and costing them the game.
Yeah, unfortunate for them there. It's just I don't want to say, you just never know with the Big 12, so I don't want to say like their Big 12 title hopes are done, but severely diminished after this one. Now with 3 losses, but I think are there all 3 losses in conference? Cincy,
BYU, and I should know this. I'm pretty sure they're all Big 12. I can tell you here. I can tell you here in a second.
Either way, but yeah, it's just it's a tough way to go for Iowa State, especially with the aspirations.
That's right. The field storm at Colorado.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, that's all 3 Big 12 losses. Kind of puts you out of the race, especially when you got teams like Tech and BYU sitting there with 0 losses, 1 loss. Arizona State's still kind of hanging around. I think they may have went to 3 losses after last weekend.
Yeah. But Cincinnati,
Cincinnati, Utah still right there. So, unfortunately,
Houston's the sneaky one too. They're 7-1, sitting at 4-1 in the Big 12.
Yeah. So, just a lot of teams in between Iowa State and kind of where they want to go there after, being really highly ranked in the preseason polls. Let's move on to the Conference of the Year, baby. The American. USF, Memphis, Alex Golish. Wasn't able to quite get the job done, man. Jumped out on Memphis. Memphis ends up winning 34-31 at home. USF jumped out on them, up 24-14 going into halftime. And, man, it's tough whenever you run the ball. I think we talked about it a little bit pre-show. When you run the ball for almost 300 yards and you don't win the football game, that's something you're disappointed about coming out of this one, right? You felt like you gave yourself plenty of opportunities, just wasn't quite able to pull it off. And credit to Memphis. Matched them offensively and were able to rally back after being down at halftime, rally back and kind of put this game away, especially with a 17-0 fourth quarter. You just not much you can do there if you're expecting to try to win that one. And it makes an American race that was already really interesting even that much more exciting, that much more compelling, as there's a lot of good teams at the top of the American.
Yeah. You said it perfect. USF, they looked like they had it in the bag, and then it just, props to Memphis, right? They took it from them. Very uncharacteristic. Very uncharacteristic of Alex Golish and his offense to just not score in a quarter, right? But let alone their defense with how well they've been playing this year to give up, that many points. But when it comes down to it now, it's like makes you wonder who's going to win the American Conference now. It looked like USF, man, they just had to get past Memphis. They already got past North Texas. There's Navy. So it's like, is USF going to win it still? Can they bounce back? Is Memphis going to turn around and win it? Is Navy, undefeated Navy, going to turn around and win it? Tulane still sitting there. So you got all these teams. The Americans kind of turning into like the new Big 12 or like I said pre-show, the MAC. It's like the new MACtion, right? So yeah, it's an exciting conference, but it's the doors wide open on it now.
Doors, and as you got all these teams, right? It's you kind of expect like these teams are playing for every one of these games is kind of like a playoff matchup. Like there's playoff potential, breaking down. Well, it's probably going to come from the American if you're looking as far as like best group of 5 teams, highest ranked group of 5 champ is probably going to be your American champ. It's just which one of these teams is going to do it. Is it going to be now 7-0 Navy, 6-2 South Florida has a really good win. Memphis 7-1 has a really good win over Arkansas and USF now. The UAB loss the week before still doesn't really make sense. So there's a lot of unknown. North Texas is still hanging around. They're 7-1 with a loss to USF.
Well, here, and I'll make my weekly AP poll complaint here. It's absolutely criminal and asinine that the undefeated Navy midshipmen aren't ranked, but Memphis, one loss Memphis. Yes, they beat USF, who was ranked, but their losses to UAB. Navy's undefeated, and Memphis is number 25, and the Navy midshipmen are still unranked. That's my rant about the AP this week.
Yeah, AP. We only got to do it for this. Is the last week we had to deal with it, right?
Right. Yeah, I believe it's the first Tuesday of November is when the poll comes out.
Oof.
I believe that's the 6th.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of we're finally able to move on without it. Sorry, my camera just freaking adjusted on. Yeah, it just like adjusted down on me. So yeah, I mean, last week of the AP, somehow we still don't have Navy in it. 7-0. I'm not saying anything, but media's not the biggest fan of the military, so
yeah. Well, there's your political statement.
there's the political statement, right? So yeah, that's USF, tough loss, but I mean everything's still on the table for both these teams. Like we just talked about, they're both still in the running. USF only has one loss in conference, so they're still competitive there for the American. So nothing out of it and nothing decided in the American. Just more exciting games coming up. Overall, that's going to do us for our Week 9 recap. Monty, you got anything else on it, man?
No, I do not. I'm looking forward to this preview episode, though. Man, going into Week 10. Going into Week 10. Going into November. It'll be November 1st come Week 10. Well, come the primary Saturday of Week 10, right? November 1st.
Man, the offseason is going to be here before we know it, unfortunately. Enjoy it while we got it, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, tell your friends, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, comment, interact with us, man. We got some more people who kind of came on board to help us out, so we're going to be more interactive, and we'll be sure to get more content posted for y'all. So, as always, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Monty and Murdy College Football Show. Till then, peace.